Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am a crocheter, S. Maxine Fisher, author, fiber artist, and queer parent of one. I love to crochet plushies, and I am here today. I kind of want to mix it up because I've been doing a lot of project videos recently, and I want to come on and just share some tips and tricks from myself as a small business owner and crocheter and now YouTuber to how I get comfortable on camera and put myself out there on a daily basis to be able to make these videos and bring my crochet studio to you and share the things that I've learned along the way. So without further ado, I feel like I say that a lot, but I'm not going to cut this out. Without further ado, let's get cooking. So I have a couple talking points that I'm going to go through today. I am not going to do a point-by-point video. This is not going to be a clean and polished one because I'm going to do this all in one take, except it might be two because I have somebody coming to pick up a hedge trimmer from me. And so I might pause this to go collect my money and give them my dirty old hedge clippers because I don't use them. I pay somebody to do that, which is faster and less effort than doing it myself. Yeah. So, public speaking. Let me tell you something that I learned really early on. There is no difference between public communication and personal communication. No, really. Unless you're like one of those televangelists that wears the blingy white suit and has the bright lights and a whole stage crew and it's costing hundreds of thousands of dollars for them to put on one of these shows. There is no difference between public communication and personal communication. Let me tell you a story. Back when I was in college, feels like it was a long time ago, I was really young and I was really shy. I had just come out of being, this shy, nerdy high schooler that didn't have a lot of friends and finally hit college and was in a different milieu and able to go on my journey of self-acceptance, whatever. But long story short, I had to take a communications class. And I put it off till, I want to say it was like my junior year because I was so scared of people. I'd heard a lot of things about, public comm, relational comm. They had only two options for communication. And it was like a gen ed course that you had to fulfill. So they had relational communications and public communications. And so I did what any shy, nerdy person would do. I went into the course catalog and talked to some of the students and figured out what was involved in both of these courses because there was no way in heck I was going to do public communications, but I was actually really scared of the relational one too because I was still trying to figure out, who I was and relationships and all that, teenage stuff that I never had a chance to address back when I was homeschooled. Whole nother story. But in talking to people, I learned that the same teachers were teaching the same courses, both courses. And the same teachers who did public versus relational communications were using the same book for the same course. It was the same curriculum and the same syllabus. The only difference is that at the end of, is that in public communications, you had to make a speech to the group standing up. And in relational communications, you got to break down into small groups and do the same assignment. So I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. So it's the same curriculum. I can get the same grade on the same tests and do the same assignments, except with one, I get to stay in my comfort zone. And with number two, I have to push myself out of my comfort zone, do the same assignment, standing up in front of a bunch of people. Guess which option I picked? Yeah, I picked number two because I was on my journey of self-discovery and really pushing myself outside my comfort zone. So I was like, you know what? Let me go for this. It's an easy A. Everybody has told me this teacher is a guaranteed A, and all I have to do is something I'm afraid of. So I did it. I took public communications, and I stood up there in front of a bunch of people and gave a couple speeches. My first one, I was like standing behind this little podium. It was one of those little music stands. Like their podium is a little black plastic music stand that they stick in front of the class and make you put a piece of paper there. But you're really not supposed to read off a piece of paper. You're supposed to have your whole speech memorized. And by the way, forget that junk. We'll get to that later in the video. So I stood up there, and I had like a little note card or something that I was crinkling the whole time, and breathing really hard, and seemed very nervous because I was very nervous because it was literally my first time giving a speech in front of a bunch of people that weren't a group of homeschoolers. And spoilers, I was nervous. So I gave my speech, and I sat down, and I got an A on the assignment, and the teacher gave me all this feedback about how, basically how much my speech sucked. Like they basically said that you looked really nervous and you were crumpling your note cards and you need to calm down. And I was like, great. Do you have a pill for that or something? Like, thanks, genius. And I was kind of so upset with the teacher about their feedback to me about something I was really nervous to do, that they were just commenting on my anxiety, that I got over my anxiety. And the next time I walked up there mad. And I gave my speech, and I sat my butt down. And never again did they tell me that I sounded nervous. They didn't even say I sounded aggressive. Actually, the feedback was really good, that I was positive and confident and sounded like I knew what I was talking about. And so the last one, I got really loose and got up there and started cracking jokes. I think I had to talk about a made-up dating service that I had created, like an online dating site for the students of my college, and was making all these jokes and talking to the audience. Have you ever been on a blind date with somebody who did this or that or the other? And people were cracking up. Like, I don't want to say I had the audience eating out of the palm of my hand, but I kind of did, because I felt like everybody really loved that speech. It was memorable. People laughed. It wasn't really a speech. It was really just a conversation. And at that point, I walked out of that experience feeling like, you know what? This is not bad at all. You don't have to buy a blingy white suit and stand up straight and put your hands by your sides and have everything memorized. You really just need to get up there and talk to people like they're people. You don't need to sit down and imagine your audience unclothed. You just need to talk to people like people. So I have a few talking points, let's say. No difference between public and personal communication. The second time that I was then called upon to use my newfound public speaking skills was at my job. So out of grad school, fast forward about a decade, I got a job working as a substance abuse counselor in a prison system. I know. It was not what I imagined doing right out of grad school, but that was kind of what the first offer that I got, and I ran with it, and I was like, you know what? I got to get up in front of big groups and talk, and I think I'm going to be cool with that because I've done it before. And the first couple weeks, I was very nervous, and I got over myself. But one thing that I learned is that, first of all, expectations, like reality, just is like a cat and, knocks them off the shelf. I was expecting to be doing group counseling. I was more doing speeches in front of large groups of people. And when I say large, I mean like 25, 30. So like not an auditorium full, but definitely not small group counseling. In fact, if you ever go to school for psychology and take group dynamics, they will tell you that you should never voluntarily run a group with more than 17 people. Like 15 is the sweet spot, 8 or 10 is even better, because group dynamics change once you hit the 17 mark and above, and people start tuning you out. They begin to insulate themselves into small groups. They'll kind of break down into cliques, not cliques, but I don't know. They'll form breakaway sessions within, and I found that people would form breakaway sessions within a large group. So you had to kind of be on top of maintaining audience engagement, because that's what it was really. It's an audience. If you wanted to provide education, if you wanted to provide interactive like group stuff, you needed to really get on people's level and kind of keep engaging with these groups to make sure they joined the large group nicely too, so people feel respected and not like they're being chewed out like a teacher would in a class full of children. But that's basically what it was like. It was like teaching a big class. So yeah, people start to tune you out. You've got to talk to, here's the secret, you've got to talk to the few people who are actually listening. Don't try to talk to the ones who are sidebarring. Talk to the ones who are listening, because they will bring your group back to center. And when you are on camera, that translates into you're not talking to the 10 million viewers that you want to engage. You are talking to the person who actually commented on your video. You're talking to the person that you had a conversation with online because they were buying something off your shop and decided to follow your YouTube channel, and you know that they're watching this video and you're talking to them. Like, you're talking to the people who follow your Instagram, who subscribe to your YouTube and are actually engaged, being like, hey, I wonder what video Maxine is coming out with next. Hi, I'm talking to you, Uncle Craig. You're talking to the people who are actually watching, not the people who kept scrolling. Because the people who kept scrolling haven't watched this far in your video, and that's okay. You don't have to be rich and famous. You don't have to be everybody's friend. Just like they taught you in middle school, you don't need to be friends with everybody. You don't need to be even liked by everybody. You just need to know how to build healthy relationships. And that goes the same for running a YouTube channel. You don't need to be everybody's friend, and you don't have to be Mr. Beast. Although, no shade on Mr. Beast, he's probably rolling in the bucks, and I'm a little jealous, but that's not me. To run a YouTube channel and engage people with your art, you just need to be about fostering healthy relationships. So that being said, what's my next talking point here? Be yourself. You don't have to have the most polished camera angle, and the most polished video to jump online and upload something and show who you really are. It is okay to, as some people say, be ugly and post ugly videos. Now, I'm not saying that you're like putting the camera up my nose. That's just unprofessional. And I'm not saying that I'm going to film while driving, because don't do that. You could get a ticket. But what I am saying is, don't sit there and wait for everything in your life to be perfect. And for you to be perfect, or I don't know, some people like want to lose weight or put on extra makeup or something. Just get on camera and talk to people like they're real people. That means that you can be seen at any angle and be your real self. That means you can technically shoot from anywhere, although there are better and worse places to shoot from, I would argue. But I've done videos from my car before. I've done videos when I'm on my way to a market or on my way to out of Michael's and complaining that I can't find the yarn I need for this project and it's due tomorrow. Like that's part of life. That's part of your real life. It's part of your real business, and don't be afraid to show those angles as well. Quite frankly, my pet peeve with many influencers is that I hate it when people shoot video from up here because they're afraid that they have a double chin. You're supposed to have 3 dimensions around your chin. That makes you not a South Park character. No shade on South Park. I like South Park animation, but that's not me. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm kind of rocking some Eric Cartman vibes, but hopefully I'm not the sort of person he is. Anyhow, so finally, anybody who cares about your camera angle, and anybody who really cares about how good the lighting is and how perfect your background is and how many times you said in your video, can keep scrolling. Finally, stay on topic, sort of, but don't feel like you need to memorize a speech. And please don't script your videos unless you have something specific that you need to say in a certain order. I have done a few scripted videos. I try to stay away from that. See, I just said However, To stay on topic, what I will usually do, and this is what I've done in my career in public speaking, is to write down my talking points beforehand. So I do get a chance to say the important things that I wanted to say in a video. So I do get a chance to say the important things that I want to say in a video. I will like write down some bullet points. Oh, sorry, somebody's messaging me. They need to stop. I will write down some bullet points that are talking points. Okay, so like that was the person with the hedge trimmer who keeps messaging me over the video and it's super distracting. And now they're like, oh, never mind, I found another one. Okay, well, thank you, bye-bye. I'll sell it to somebody else because I don't need you to keep on spamming me with messages. Okay, so see, this is why I write down my talking points. All right, so my final point was have a few talking points to keep you on topic, and if you need to take a break, you know, just drink some water. So in my career in public speaking, what I would typically do is have a handout. And that's just like a little summary of what I was going to talk about. I would actually share that with the group that I was talking to if I had the opportunity, because that gave them a chance to follow along with what I was saying, even if they had gotten into a sidebar conversation, or even if they, you know, if they were watching on camera, if they, on YouTube, if you like zoned out and started reading an article and were multitasking on your phone with me, minimized on the side of the screen, you can still kind of jump back and see what my points are. So no, I'm not that sophisticated. I don't always do that on YouTube, but I do appreciate it when other people do. When you can go to the description box and they actually put their main points down there. Maybe I should start doing that more with my videos, but I feel like more of mine are just like projects and storytelling. But with this one, I am going to hold myself accountable and list my talking points. But for myself, I would just literally take a notebook like a few minutes before the show and write them on a piece of paper, just so I can stay on topic. And if I do get off topic, and be like, oh, this is what I'm talking about. Writing down word for word what you want to say in a video changes your delivery significantly. Yes, you're going to sound a little bit more polished, and yes, you are going to refrain from saying and talking with your hands because you are reading off a piece of paper. Like, people can see when you're reading off a piece of paper. It's not that you can't do that, but it makes you less interactive and engaging. You pause less frequently for the audience to digest what you're saying, and you might not put questions out to the audience or like, I don't know, be like, hey, you know, comment down below if you think the same way I do on this. So now I made myself all self-conscious by doing that, and I lost my train of thought. But this was actually the end of my train of thought, is that public communications and relational interpersonal communications ideally are the same type of communication if you're really being authentic. That being said, post some ugly videos and show me what you're working on, because I would love to see your project. I'd love to see what you do and who you are. And if you want me to follow your YouTube channel, follow me and comment down below, and I'll go in there and follow your channel because I'd like to follow other crocheters. So I'm going to wrap up this video now and get back to crocheting because I've got a billion projects, including this, you know, and some of these giant things that are sitting up there unfinished. So I'm going to get back to work, but thanks for coming on and thanks for watching. If you want to see some of the projects that I'm working on and some of the things I've been crocheting that can help inspire your work, please feel free to hit like and subscribe to my channel. All right, everybody, have a fabulous day, everyone, and stay creative. Bye.